Welcome back to the TWSN YouTube channel. My name is Harrison Vapnek. Before I get into the top breakout candidates in college football this season, go ahead and subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel. We got lots of great content coming this fall. NFL coming next week, college football a week away, MLB playoffs, NBA season previews, and much more. Also, our betting service on Patreon just opened up. I highly encourage you take a look at that for some of the best bets out there, and go hit up our social media pages at TWSN and download our mobile app for all the latest TWSN content. Now on to my college football breakout players of 2021. First player I want to get into at the quarterback position from LSU, Max Johnson. I want to do a little quarterback comparison. So here's player one. 784 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, 58.6 completion percentage. Player two, 772 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 69.5 completion percentage. Player one is Max Johnson, his last 3 games last year. Player two is Joe Burrow in his last 3 games in 2018 at LSU. Johnson last year, just 5 games played, 1,069 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. He started last year as a third-string quarterback, worked his way up through the depth chart as a true freshman. When he got his chance, led an upset over number 6 Florida on the road. The very next week, went into Ole Miss, broke the single-game LSU freshman passing record, won that game. He brings high intensity and great energy to the LSU offense. The quarterback last year, Miles Brennan, suffered an arm injury in practice last month, opening the door for Johnson to be the full-time starter, and I expect him to take full advantage. Not saying he's about to have a Joe Burrow 2019 LSU season, but they have a strong receiving core with Kayshon Boutte. They have Trey Palmer. They have a good running back in Tyron Davis-Price. I think this offense is a high ceiling. I think Johnson gives them ability to get there. Players are a player who really didn't have as much of an opportunity to shine last year, but I think he's in store for a big season this year. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State, their wide receiver. Limited action last year, just 10 catches, 49 yards, 1 touchdown. It's a pretty loaded receiving core in Ohio State with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who are 2 first-round picks in next year's draft probably. They have Julian Fleming back. They have additions of highly ranked freshmen Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Abuku. But I think it's Smith-Njigba's time to really take the snaps and run with it. He has incredible hands and really good route running. He had an incredible catch last year against Nebraska in the back of the end zone, so we know what he's capable of. There's also a chance for Ohio State wants to run the ball more. Now they have a new quarterback in C.J. Stroud, so they could use him as a blocker. Ohio State's wide receiver coach Brian Hartline called him one of the best blockers in the room, so it might not be something that shows up on the stat line, but it could be an important part of the offense where he's used as a run blocker. Olave and Wilson could be seeing a lot of double teams this year, opening the door for Smith-Njigba to really step up and make a chance. I expect to have maybe 500-600 yards this year and really step forward in the depth chart as the season goes on. Next up, a wide receiver from North Carolina. It's Josh Downs. 7 catches last year, 119 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns in just 4 games for the sophomore from Suwanee, Georgia. In the bowl game against Texas A&M, he kind of broke out. There were 4 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's playing an offense that lost Anami Brown. They lost Daz Newsome. They lost running backs Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. It's a lot of production to fill, and I think that Downs could be that guy to really step up forward. He was the best wide receiver in spring for UNC. Mac Brown said that himself. The offensive coordinator Phil Longo gave Downs praise a couple weeks ago, saying he smiles every time he hears Josh Downs' name because it's a guy right now that really has done a very good job. Downs has the opportunity to be the number 1 wide receiver in a very good offensive system. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation in Sam Howell. Could have a monster season ahead. We saw even in that bowl game against Texas A&M, they're lining up him in the backfield. They're moving him in the slot and outside. I think we could see high things for Josh Downs this year, upwards of 1,000 yards and one of the best receivers in the ACC. The defensive side of the football, cornerback from Florida, Kody Elim, I think is the next breakout player. He's had a really good start to his career, all-SEC freshman in 2018, second team all-SEC last year. I think this is the year he breaks out and becomes one of the best corners in all of college football and a potential first-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. Last season, 39 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 passes defense. He had 2 interceptions in 2019, that is. He's a great man-to-man corner in a Florida secondary that's lost a lot of pieces, including Marco Wilson and Sean Davis. Now has the opportunity to step up to be the top guy and match up against some of the best receivers, not just in the SEC, but in all of college football. And I think he's up for the challenge. Was already named to the second team preseason All-American, so people are recognizing his breakout potential. Florida's defense had a very disappointing end to last year. In their last 3 games, all losses, gave up 48 points per game. Could see him, that defense, come out angry to start the season. They have, they play FAU week 1. They got Alabama week 3. I want to see Kody Elim get some interceptions to start the year and kind of prove himself as one of the best corners in college football. Next up, a popular breakout player pick, and I think this player could have one of the best seasons as a running back in all of college football. Devin Akane, Running back, Texas A&M, last 2 games last year, 9 carries, 99 yards against Auburn. Then in the bowl game against North Carolina, 12 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think was the offensive player of the game. Texas A&M was down a touchdown in that game, started giving Akane the ball, and they went over from there and won that game. SEC freshman of the week against that Auburn game. Last year's true freshman from Missouri City, Texas, didn't really get his chance till the end of the year and really took advantage when he got it. He has unbelievable speed as a track runner. At the outdoor Texas relays, he ran a 20.31 200-meter run, which is the 11th fastest run in Texas A&M history for track. They already have Isaiah Spiller and Anya Smith, who are great runners in that backfield, but I think it'll be Akane who steals the starting job, could run for upwards of 1,500 yards, kind of a quiet Heisman pick if he can become that full-time starter. He's definitely going to be the face of that Texas A&M offense this year. Last but not least, this is one of my favorite players in college football. He was a true freshman last year. They didn't really use him to his full potential. I think this is the year he kind of really breaks out and makes a name for himself. Tight end from Georgia, Darnell Washington. He's a sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's 6'7", 265 pounds. He could be a power forward in the NBA, a power forward at Georgia. He's one of the tallest players in maybe the entire sport. Had a quiet year last year, 7 catches, 166 yards, no touchdowns. He was utilized towards the end of the year against Missouri, 2 catches, 61 yards. In the bowl game against Cincinnati, 3 catches, 46 yards. He is battling some injuries. I'm not sure he's going to play in the season opener against Clemson, but when he does get on the field, I think he can make a major factor just because you see the guy's size. He's 6'7". He's good route running ability, solid speed. He's a mismatch against anyone who tries to guard him, linebackers, corners, safeties. I think once he kind of figures it out and gets his full potential, I think Darnell Washington is going to be one of the best tight ends in all of college football, and it could be towards the end of the season. I'm really excited about him. Thank you for tuning into my college football breakout players video. We have much more college football content on the way, including a video of why I think a certain team will bring home the national championship and much more. Stay tuned for that. Again, please subscribe to our TWSN YouTube. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers and could have a little giveaway when we get there. So keep your eyes out for that. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the TWSN YouTube channel.